The wind rustled gently through golden leaves as they fluttered from the trees, drifting down to line the cobblestone paths of a quiet countryside village. Morning sunlight cast a warm, amber hue across the sleepy homes and dew-speckled grass. Inside one cozy cottage nestled near the edge of the woods, the day had just begun. Birds chirping softly outside, the smell of pancakes wafting from the kitchen, and a little boy named Noah wide awake before the rest of the world. No more than 2 years old, Noah had the soft, rounded features of a child untouched by fear or judgment. His cheeks still held the rosiness of sleep, and his tiny feet patted across the floor as he clutched his favorite toy, a worn plastic truck with one missing wheel. No one noticed as he made his way to the backyard door, pushed it open with surprising strength, and stepped barefoot into the cool morning grass. The backyard opened into a wide clearing that met the edge of the forest. A simple wooden fence stood between the house and the trees, a boundary of sorts between two worlds. Noah, curious and fearless, toddled forward, the toy truck dragging behind him on a string. As he reached the edge of the yard, he stopped. His small body went rigid. His head tilted slightly. From the trees, a sound. It wasn't the wind. It was something soft, fragile, a whimper. Low, broken, almost human in its sadness. Noah's wide eyes scanned the fence line. And then he saw it. Half concealed behind the twisted bramble near the fence corner, a creature was slumped awkwardly, its side rising and falling rapidly, its breath uneven. The animal's thick brown fur was matted, stained with dirt and blood. Its hind leg was trapped between two rusted iron slats in the fence, bent at a sickening angle. It was a bear cub. But this wasn't the roaring beast children were warned about. This bear didn't growl, didn't thrash, didn't snarl. It lay there, frozen, its massive eyes locked with Noah's, filled with pain, and something deeper, plea. Noah blinked. Instead of fear, he tilted his head with gentle curiosity. Then, slowly, he walked forward, his toy dragging behind him with a soft rattle. The bear flinched at the noise but didn't move. Noah stopped just inches from the fence. For a moment, neither moved. The air between them felt suspended, like time had been paused by an invisible hand. And then Noah did something no adult would ever have dared. He sat down. Gently, carefully, he placed his toy truck on the grass, facing the bear. His tiny hand reached through the lowest rung of the fence and extended toward the animal. The bear didn't react at first. It was breathing in shallow, painful bursts. But its gaze never broke away from Noah's. Noah gurgled softly, his toddler voice full of warmth and wonder. "Bear," he whispered. Not a cry, not a command. Just a word, a name, a connection. The bear blinked slowly. A breeze stirred the leaves around them. And then, the cub gave a low, barely audible whine, its nose twitching toward Noah's hand. Inside the house, no one knew. Noah's parents were moving about their morning, his mother humming as she loaded the dishwasher, his father reading the news on his phone. The back door creaked slightly in the wind, but they thought nothing of it. Outside, Noah shuffled closer to the fence. His tiny hands, surprisingly determined, gripped the cold metal slats. He pulled. Nothing budged. He cooed, copying the bear's soft sounds. Still, the fence held tight. The bear whimpered again, more urgently this time. Blood from its leg darkened the grass below. Its breathing grew ragged. It tried to pull back, but the metal pinched tighter. Noah whimpered too, his voice echoing the same pain. Then, something inside him shifted. As if sensing the animal's worsening state, he rose clumsily to his feet and pushed one chubby arm through the fence, this time farther than before. His fingers brushed against the bear's fur, matted, warm, trembling. He didn't flinch. The bear didn't bite. There was only stillness. And then came the cry, a deep, guttural, heart-piercing wail from the cub. The sound tore through the trees, echoing across the clearing. Noah's eyes filled with tears instantly. His face crumpled. He cried, loudly. Not from fear, from heartbreak, from a place too deep for words. The raw sound of his sobbing seemed to ripple through the air. A moment later, chaos broke the spell. A neighbor's dog, tied to a post just a few houses down, began to bark furiously, snarling at the fence, its leash snapping against wood. Inside the cottage, Noah's mother's head snapped up. Her hands froze. The barking was too close, too frantic. "Noah?" she called out. No answer. She rushed to the back door, her heartbeat suddenly pounding. Her husband looked up, confused, then followed. Outside, the morning calm was broken. The dog barked louder. But Noah was silent now. He had stopped crying, and as his parents stepped into the backyard and turned the corner toward the fence, what they saw rooted them in place. Their baby boy knelt on the ground, face streaked with tears, his tiny hand gently resting against the fur of a bear cub pinned in agony. For one breathless second, the world stopped. The father shouted, rushing forward. The mother screamed. But before they could reach him, Noah did something no one could have expected. He turned toward the bear, picked up his toy truck, and placed it right under the bear's trembling paw. Then he stood still, waiting. Noah, unaware of the panic unfolding behind him, inched forward on hands and knees, his belly brushing the damp grass. The lowest rung of the fence barely cleared the ground, but he squeezed under, one leg at a time, until his body was fully on the other side. Now, face to face with the trapped cub, he didn't hesitate. With the same gentleness a child shows to a favorite stuffed animal, he reached out and placed the toy truck in front of the bear's bloodied paw. The cub, panting from pain, stared at the offering, then slowly nudged the toy with its snout, pushing it back toward the boy. Noah giggled, a soft, gurgling laugh that somehow felt like sunshine cutting through storm clouds. The bear gave a short huff, not a growl, not a threat. Something else. And it lowered its head to the earth, resting it beside the toy. That's when the back door slammed open. "Noah!" his mother screamed. She sprinted across the yard, barefoot and pale, horror etching every line of her face. The barking dog next door was in a frenzy now, snapping against its leash. The father was just steps behind her, shouting Noah's name, eyes wild. They rounded the corner and froze. There, beyond the fence, was their baby mere inches from a massive bear. But the bear wasn't attacking. It wasn't even moving. It was gently nuzzling the small broken toy truck as Noah touched its fur. The boy looked up at them and smiled. "Bear sad," he mumbled, pointing. "Fix." The mother staggered forward, tears rushing to her eyes. "Noah, baby, come here. Come to Mommy now." The spell shattered. The father vaulted over the fence in a single motion, scooping Noah into his arms with a grunt. The boy screamed in protest, flailing his arms, reaching for the bear. "No, no, bear hurt, bear need me." But he was already being carried away, back across the yard, away from the fence and into the house. The mother followed, dialing wildlife authorities with trembling fingers. Behind them, the bear let out a low, mournful cry. From the safety of the kitchen, Noah pressed his hands to the window, sobbing uncontrollably. The father tried to soothe him, but the boy wouldn't stop crying. His eyes remained locked on the fence line, where the bear now lay completely still, paw resting atop the toy truck. The news spread fast. By midday, a crowd had formed near the backyard fence. Some peered from behind trees. Others stood on the road, murmuring nervously. A few brave or foolish locals inched closer, trying to glimpse the wild creature caught in the old fence. "That's a wild animal," barked one man. "Should have been put down hours ago." "Put down," a woman whispered. "It hasn't moved. That baby was touching it. No way, no wild bear lets a toddler crawl up and hand it toys." An elderly man leaned on a cane near the edge of the group. His voice was gravelly but steady. "In the old stories," he said softly, "they spoke of moments like this." The crowd turned toward him. He nodded slowly. The pure-hearted, the untouched. Children, sometimes. They could feel the soul of an animal, and sometimes the animal felt it back. That kind of bond. It can't be explained. Someone scoffed. "Old fairy tales. Don't confuse a wild animal's exhaustion with magic." But a hush settled over the group, because deep down, None of them had ever seen anything like it either. The sun had climbed high in the sky by the time the wildlife team arrived. 2 trucks, a tranquilizer rifle, a metal crate, and a team of 5 dressed in green uniforms. The lead officer, Dana Reeves, was seasoned and unflappable. She'd dealt with rogue mountain lions, wolves, and feral boars. But even she hesitated when she saw the bear. "Sedate first, then we cut the fence," she ordered. Her team moved swiftly. One of them lined up the shot while another prepared medical supplies. The dart struck the bear's neck with a sharp thwick. The animal flinched but didn't fight. Within seconds, its eyes fluttered closed. "Let's go," Dana called. They cut the fence apart around the bear's leg. But the moment they pulled the metal free, blood poured out. "Damn it," one medic muttered. "There was pressure on the artery. Fence must have been holding it in." "Clamp now! Keep him breathing!" Dana snapped. The team worked frantically, but the bear's pulse weakened fast. The sedation was complicating things. They had to move, now. Within minutes, the bear was loaded into the truck, hooked to IVs and monitors. The moment the doors closed, Dana turned to the parents. "We're taking him to the Emergency Wildlife Center 2 towns over," she said. "He's critical. Might not make it." The mother nodded silently. But Noah, still pressed against the glass door, watching, let out another cry. "No, Bear," he wailed. Dana's eyes flicked toward the boy. "What's his name?" she asked softly. "Noah," the mother replied. Dana crouched. "Tell him we'll try, I promise. We'll do everything we can." As the trucks rolled away, Noah stared until the last tire mark faded into the road. That evening, the Wildlife Center was chaotic. The bear had gone into shock en route. Internal bleeding, muscle damage, and infection threatened his life. Vets worked in shifts, administering antibiotics, stitching wounds, monitoring every breath. But the bear didn't move, didn't respond, wouldn't eat. It had given up. And then, as if carried by fate, a soft cry echoed down the corridor. Noah. The family had driven straight to the center against protest. The mother wouldn't take no for an answer. And the moment they arrived, Noah wriggled free of her arms and ran. Past nurses, past staff, past warning signs, to the glass window of the recovery room. Inside, the bear lay sedated, tubes hooked to its limbs, chest rising in shallow rhythm. Noah pressed his tiny hands to the glass, tears streaming down his cheeks. "Bear, please, wake," he whispered, and then, without a word, he reached into his pocket. He pulled out the toy truck. The same one. The plastic was cracked, smeared with dried blood, but intact. Noah held it to the glass, then gently tapped it twice and placed it on the floor, as if the bear could somehow see it through the wall. He backed away and sat cross-legged on the tile, waiting, watching. Inside the recovery room, nothing happened at first. The heart monitor kept its slow, flat rhythm. The air was filled with antiseptic and quiet beeping. But then, the bear twitched. One paw shifted. The nostrils flared, and one eye just barely cracked open. The attending vet, checking monitors, froze. "Something's changing," she whispered. The bear's gaze drifted toward the window. It couldn't see the toy, but it felt something. And somewhere in its fractured consciousness it remembered the soft hands, the kind eyes, the offering of peace, the bond.